Hey y'all, this is your girl Tysheen. I'm back. How you doing? How you feeling? I hope you're doing good. Doing good? So I react to one I did this one before. This one is part 2, but I did part 1. And as American, let me tell you something. I've learned so much from my fellow Americans who traveled other countries and have learned so much far as differences. You know, here in America and different countries, I learned so much. Even though some things I kind of knew already, but by hearing it from another American is like, whoa, you know, like whoa. You know, we always talk about, you know, our country is the best country, but it's like, you know, I love it here. I love my country, but when I hear other countries, you know, have a little better lifestyle, it's like, whoa, you know, like you want to pack up and move. You know, like especially the fact that we only get like 2 weeks vacation, and other countries have 6-week vacation. It's like, well, goddamn, we work hard too, just like everybody else. Can we get like 6 weeks vacation? Can we get some free health care? Why do we gotta pay for everything? It's like that. It sucks. But this is part 2. Yeah, and like I said, I learned so much. I'm learning so much, and I enjoy doing these type of videos because, you know, we learned so much from it. We shared information with each other, and yeah. So let's get started.
What is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
It's not. Okay, sorry. I have to make sure I'm recording because, yeah.
Not current, but when I was studying in the UK, one day I really needed to see a doctor. But I didn't know how to access care. I didn't know what my insurance situation was like, so I just went to work. And eventually I was in so much pain that I burst into tears, and my boss pulled me aside. And he was like, "What's up?" And I was like, "I really need to see a doctor, but I don't know how to access care here. I don't know if I can afford it." And he was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Go down the street to the hospital." And I argued with him, and he was like, "No, just trust me. Just go to the hospital." So I went, and I was like clutching my like student ID in my hand, my passport, and I was like trying to remember how much I had in my bank account, like checking. And I got called back to the doctor. He was like, "Yep, this is what's wrong with you. Pick up your prescription on the way out." And I was like, "I'm sorry, do you know how much it's gonna be?" And he said, "I don't know, maybe 8 pounds." I was like, "I'm sorry, 8? He was like, "Yeah, I don't think it's ever more than that." The receptionist kept laughing at me because I didn't feel comfortable leaving without paying somebody, and I kept asking if I owed anybody any money.
Yeah, it's a habit. We can't help ourselves because everything is, you know, like I said before in the other video. Because somebody already talked about it, but I didn't know it was that cheap. 8 pounds? Jeez. Medication is not even 8 pounds. Just to see a doctor is not even 8 pounds. Nothing, there's no such thing as 8 pounds, nothing. You're going to pay, I don't know how much, but it depends on the situation. But you're going to pay like hundreds or maybe thousands of dollars. But 8 pounds? Wow, that's crazy.
I am back for round 2 on this one. So I just moved to Italy with my boyfriend who is Italian. We're watching a movie the other day where somebody is running away and they get shot. And I'm like, you know what? That's their fault. They didn't run in a zigzag. That's like the first thing they teach you, to run in a zigzag if somebody's pointing a gun at you. He pauses the movie and he looks at me and he goes, "Who taught you that?" And I'm like, you know, like teachers, adults, parents, like they teach you when you're young to run in a zigzag if somebody is pointing a gun at you.
Yeah.
The sinking feeling I had when I realized that nobody ever had to teach him that when he was young. Because that's not a problem here.
Because they don't have gun problem there. That's sad that us Americans have to think that way. Just to survive, you know, because there's a lot of gun issue here. So, you know, they teach you things to, you know, survive.
Oh, I've got a couple. So I'm from Los Angeles and now I live in Austria. And basically when I first started working here, they were like, you get 25 days vacation, Fridays off early, and if you're sick, don't come into work. And I was just like, I was floored. Because in the US, you only get 10 days vacation and like 5 sick days, and you don't get Fridays off early. You better work your ass until it's 9 p.m.
Yes.
On top of all of that, all my friends here have like 2 masters, 3 PhDs, etc., 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 because education here is actually free. Amazing. What an amazing concept. In addition, I have yet to see a large homeless community out in the open here in Austria because the government actually offers some social support. A lot of social support. In LA, you have villages, streets, blocks full of homeless people because our government doesn't care about us. And here, people like don't measure their worth off the car.
She's right. She's absolutely right. I'm not from Los Angeles, but I've seen videos where like the whole strip, you know, is nothing but homeless people. We have a lot of those here too in New York. You'll see a lot. It's like, it's sad. They don't get much help. I mean, there are help there, but it's not much. But there's help, but some people just choose not to want to get help. But it's a problem, you know. But wow. The boss here, you know, here in America, you gotta go to work. They don't care. There's no such thing as leaving early on Friday. You gotta stay until, if you're working from 9, you gotta stay until 5 p.m. You have to stay. There's no such thing as going home early. And if you're sick, it depends on how sick you are. They're gonna be like, well, you ain't that sick. You're gonna have to stay. Sorry.
When I had my first child, we were stationed overseas in Germany. And at that point, I'd been a nurse for about 5 years. And I had a C-section. So day 3, after I delivered, I was packing up my stuff and getting the baby ready to go home. And the German nurse walked in and looked at me and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm packing to go home." And she said, "Nein, you're not going home. You just had major surgery. We have physical therapy coming to see you. And dinner is on its way up. And if you'd like, I can call down and have them bring up some beer. But you need to rest." And I thought, yeah, I did have major surgery. I do need to rest. And they kept me for another week until I was ready to go home and I could take care of everything on my own.
Not here. They be rushing you out. But I'm surprised because usually they want to make that little extra money, you know? They want to squeeze some money out of you. They probably have you stay a little longer. But I didn't know that. They keep you... See, I didn't know that. Wow. I know when you just have a baby, you're only able to stay for like, I think 3 days. I guess it depends on the situation, you know?
I live in Warsaw, Poland now, but I always stay in touch with what's happening in the US, and I happened to hear about that Las Vegas shooting when someone opened fire on a bunch of concert goers.
Oh, yeah.
And it was very tragic news. But that day, I also went to the movies, so I was already in a kind of weird mental state. And when I left the movies, I got on the tram again in Warsaw, and I saw this guy kind of being sketchy and acting weird in the last seat. I kept eyeing him the whole time, and he had his jacket open and he was holding something inside. He was hiding it. And I thought, my first American thought was it's a gun or a knife or some kind of weapon, and I need to move away as soon as possible. So I kept looking at him the whole ride, and then he takes it out, and it was a beer can. He was sipping it and hiding it during the tram ride. That's what happens in Poland. Not guns, not knives. And I started crying and laughing at the same time because that's when I realized, wow, that's messed up.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how we are. We can't help it. It's all this craziness that's going on here in America. So we always on edge, you know. If we go somewhere, we always gotta look around, and it's sad that we live like that, you know, because there's so much craziness. So we always gotta watch over our shoulder, and we can't help ourselves, you know. Like, some of us get paranoid. It's sad. It is sad.
So I can make like 200 of these, but I'll just talk about the first time I realized how fucked up the US is, which was in the first week that I got to Sweden, when my boyfriend's family told me that I need to make sure I get insured, and that I get insurance for everything I own, my laptop, my bike, my apartment, my whole body. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's so expensive. Like, I'm already super in debt with student loans, so no. But I asked out of curiosity, just like how much it was going to cost. $100 a year to insure everything I have. For reference, like the average American person spends $456 a month just on health insurance. Just for healthcare. That doesn't include cars or home insurance. So
Wait, what? What? $100 for 1 year? That's nothing. What? See, that's something new. I didn't know that. We'd be paying something like that for a month, not no whole year, or maybe a month if we're lucky, but not a whole year. It's a new year. Like I said before in my other video, don't be surprised that I'm gonna make an announcement that I'm moving out in America. So yeah, don't be surprised.
So I live in Paris, and 2 months ago I got hit by a taxi relatively hard. I fell down on the street. All these people came, they picked me up, they brought me over to a bench. Someone from a restaurant brought me a glass of water. Another woman gave me a handful of coins, and I was like, I don't need your money, it's okay. And she was like, sweetheart, this is your money. It fell out of your pockets when you got hit by the taxi. And I was like, Sonic the Hedgehog vibes, great. The man who hits me goes to call the ambulance, and I said, stop. Do not call the ambulance. That will cost me $3,000 to $5,000 because that's what an ambulance costs in America. And he was like, what are you talking about? An ambulance is €7. I was like, oh my God. Remind me to twist my ankle on the way home from the club, and they'll give me an IV so I won't be hungover the next day? Catch me at the hospital. This is lit.
Oh my God. It is about like $3,000 to $5,000 for the ambulance to pick you up. Thousands of dollars. That's why a lot of people here don't like to go to the hospital. A lot of people don't like to go to the doctor because it's so expensive. So it's sad, you know. It shouldn't be like that, but whoa. Can you imagine as an American, I'm going to another country, they'll look at me crazy. I'm like, I don't have any money. And they be like, what are you talking about? It's free. It's only $5. It's only $10.
So my first year here in Paris, I was an au pair, and I got really sick during the winter. It was bronchitis, and I couldn't breathe. I was coughing a lot. I was trying to avoid going to the emergency room as much as possible because in the US it's very, very expensive. But there was one night where I really couldn't hold out any longer. So I drove to the emergency room, and when I was there, they gave me a nebulizer, and then they wanted to give me chest x-rays. And I was like, listen, can we please not do the chest x-rays? I'm fine, let's just go. And the doctor looked at me and she was like, why don't you want to do these? You have to do them, you could have damage. And I said, well, I don't have any money, I'm not gonna be able to afford it. And she looked at me and she was like, it's covered with Social Security. So I was like, oh, okay. And then instead of having to book a whole nother appointment and wait forever for the results, we walked down the hall, we took the chest x-rays, I had the results in 5 minutes. I paid €12 and then I was reimbursed 3 days later.
12, and she was reimbursed.
So I started my new job in the Netherlands. This was 3 years ago.
That's another place I want to visit.
I was going through the company policy the first week, and I got to the section about leave, and they have a holiday leave, like PTO, and then they had sick leave in 2 different areas. And I was reading about sick leave, and I turned to my coworker, and I was like, I don't understand. Like, it talks about like the requirements for sick leave and like doctor notes like after 3 days, but how many sick days do we get a year? And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, how many are there? It doesn't say. She's like, it's just if you're sick, you're out. I'm like, I don't understand. She's like, it's unlimited. It's just if you're sick, unlimited? You take a sick day. She was confused. I was shocked. There's a moment I realized we're fucked up in America and how we deal with people being sick with work.
Wait, hold on. Unlimited. There was times where I was so sick and I told my boss and they were like, okay, you don't have to come to work. But then you be sick you still sick. They think that you could be sick for 1 day and you should be okay the next day and they want you to come to work. They don't care. Yeah, that's how they are. Most jobs are like that here in America. They don't care. Yeah, and we don't get enough sick days. There was time where I was so sick and I had to come to work. They don't want to hear it. They want a doctor's note. They want us to, if you're sick, they want us, if you're going to be out more than I think 2 or 3 days, some jobs, not a lot of jobs, but most jobs, yeah, you have to bring in a doctor's note. So now I have to go to the doctor, pay whatever fee, whatever, and and get a doctor's note just to show proof that I'm sick. It's crazy.
Yeah, so this one hit me pretty hard. It was one of the first dates I ever had in Germany with my boyfriend, and he wanted to take me on a nature walk. Well, it was a beautiful day, and we went on this beautiful trail, but it ended out leading up to somebody's field, like a farmer's field, and I absolutely wanted nothing to do with that. I said, nope, that's it, we're going home, I'm not doing that, and he kind of was persistent and saying, like, why? And I was like, are you crazy? They're gonna shoot us. I was pretty new to Germany, so I didn't really understand how things worked yet. But I did grow up in rural Western New York, where if you trespass on somebody's property, their woods or their field, there's a good chance that you'd be shot and killed.
Yeah.
My next door neighbors would get blackout drunk and then start shooting off their back porch into the random wilderness. And he stopped me and said, nobody shoots trespassers here, why would they do that? Even if they're trespassing, like, that's so overdramatic. And it hit me how normalized that was for me growing up, that I could potentially die going for a walk.
Yeah. Some places, well, I think most places here, they could, I don't know about, well, she said, well, basically she's saying upstate New York. Yeah, people have rights to, shoot you. If you trespass in their property, they have right to shoot you, which is kind of sad that, well, I mean, they're just going for a walk, it's just an innocent walk. So I guess it depends on the situation, but it's crazy. Everything leads to guns and shooting somebody.
Here's a fun one. So I'm teaching 3rd grade in Thailand, right? And it's sports day. Kids running around, screaming, having fun, as kids do. And I hear a bang. Instantly, my heart drops into my stomach. My entire body tenses. My adrenaline starts pumping. And I'm looking around for the shooter. And then I realize I'm in Thailand. And people don't have guns. And they don't shoot children at their school. It was a balloon. A balloon popped. Fuck you, America.
I know it's not funny, but it's funny. Like, it's funny for us because we're so we have gun issue here. So it's like every time we hear like a popping noise or something, we automatically think it's somebody shooting, which is sad, but we get, our body gets real intense. We like, what the hell? Somebody shooting? First thing we thinking, we gotta duck or run somewhere, but it's sad. It is sad.
So I grew up in southern Indiana, and I moved to London, England. So I just moved to England, and I made a lot of new friends. So I go to a party, this was like 3 years ago. And let's say one of my friends he drank too much water. And all my friends were taking care of him, including myself, and all of a sudden one of them goes, hey, we gotta call an ambulance. And I was like, no, dude, like, do you know how much money that costs? Like, he just drank too much water, he's gonna be fine. And right when I said that, everyone looked at me and said, mate, what are you talking about? And I was like, dude, the ambulance is gonna cost like $3,000. And that was the moment I realized that England had free healthcare.
Hi. So I've been living in Spain for about 11 years, and this happened like 11 years ago. It was my first time going to the emergency room, and when, stomach problems, whatever, couldn't stop throwing up. And I go in, give the girl at the front desk my ID and my debit card. And she takes my ID, checks me in, hands both cards back to me. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I give the debit card, I pay at the end. So I go in, everything, give me medicine, and I go back out. I stop at the front desk again, and I was like, hi, I'm leaving. Here's my debit card. And she just looks at me and she's like, I don't know why you keep giving this to me. You don't need to give me your debit card. I don't get it. And I'm like, oh, you don't have to pay for health services, even in a private hospital.
Now I know that when I go to another country, I would not even mention anything about the prices, because now I know. So that way, this saved me from embarrassing myself. All right, so that's it, y'all. I learned a lot. I've learned. Like I said, some of them basically saying the same thing the other people had said before about the whole ambulance, you know. But some of them I was shocked. I ain't gonna lie. I just learned a few new things. That is crazy. I learn a lot now. So when it's time for me to travel, I don't have to embarrass myself. But it's just crazy. It's crazy, y'all. It's crazy. We are messed up. We are messed up in the head. Oh my God. It's sad and crazy. Oh my God. So comment below. Let me know. Is there anything else that I need to know? Is there anything else I need to know? Did they cover everything? Like, let me know what's the difference between certain things down below. And also check this video out that I did. I did part 1. So check that one. You can check this video too if you want to. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you lovely people. Take care of yourself. Bye and peace.